Super Mario Maker 2 version 1.1 dropped last night to everybody's surprise, and brought with it a slew of changes. While the shiny new stuff is fairly obvious, such as multiplayer with friends finally being released, there are a couple little things that weren't even in Nintendo's patch notes. So, in this video, I'm going to be going over almost every new change, big or small, in Mario Maker 2's latest update. Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way first, starting with multiplayer with friends. You are now able to play Super Mario Maker 2 with up to 3 of your Nintendo Switch friends. You can create your own room that any of your friends can join, a private room with a password, or join any of your friends' public rooms. Voice chat is enabled on this mode if you have the Nintendo Switch Online app on your phone. The host can choose between playing a random level from Course World or any level in their course spot and downloaded courses list. They can decide if the level will be played in co-op or versus mode. Levels played in multiplayer with friends are treated the same way as they would be in online play, meaning items will respawn, players in co-op mode can respawn next to each other, and yes, there is still lag. But speaking of lag, Nintendo says that if the connection is unstable before a multiplayer co-op or versus match starts, the match will be cancelled. And if a player disconnects as a multiplayer versus match is starting, they'll lose points, essentially preventing people from dodging matches until they find a level they're comfortable with. In multiplayer co-op, when everyone chooses Let's Start Over, the timer will now be reset as well, which should have been how it worked in the first place, but no sense in complaining at this point. Moving on to some broader quality of life improvements, you can now select Play Together directly from any course on Course World. Previously, you'd have to find a course, download it, and go to your downloaded courses list to be able to play with your friends locally. This change will save a ton of time for you couch co-op connoisseurs out there. The Maker profile now includes a list showing a user's 100 most recent first clears, as well as a badge showing the total number of first clears and world records a user holds. The S+ rank has also been confirmed to be the highest tier in multiplayer versus, which I would show you myself, but I'm not an S+ player. You can see your rank right on the button for multiplayer versus now though. A list of official makers is now available in the leaderboards menu, which is essentially just a way for Nintendo to promote their own in-house made levels. You can now also play with a horizontal Joy-Con in all game modes, and a new controller button is found in the main menu. Speaking of controllers, the title screen no longer requires you to press ZL and ZR to start the game. Now it's just simply L and R, which is probably because a horizontal Joy-Con only has one pair of shoulder buttons. There are also some improvements to the course editor. Most notably, you can now use button controls while in handheld mode. If you're someone who switches between handheld and docked mode often, this is going to make your life much easier. If you don't like this change though, you can go back to the touch-only controls from the settings button in the main menu. They've also increased the speed at which the cursor moves while in the course editor. This is a welcome addition for those of you who create almost exclusively in docked mode, like myself. And at the very bottom of Nintendo's patch notes, it says other issues have been fixed to make for a more pleasant gaming experience. So what all was changed behind the scenes? Well, a lot actually. For one, Luigi no longer harasses you after dying more than once in a story mode level. Now only a simple icon will pop up in the bottom left indicating access to the parts menu. There's also a new opening animation which features Luigi and the gang fighting over a key. Someone at Nintendo has definitely played a round or two of versus mode. Speaking of versus, it is now no longer possible to block other players from exiting a warp or clear pipe using builder blocks. Players will simply destroy the crates as they pass through a pipe. However, if they're your own builder boxes, they can still block you. Same with the normal crates. And there are a ton of little changes to the physics of the game that makes certain setups completely obsolete from here on out. Some honorable mentions are the removal of the super jump glitch in Super Mario 3D World, and the P-switch assisted item spin jump in Super Mario World. Shell jump timing has changed and is now more in line with the original Mario Maker, where you let go of grab a little later in your jump. Sideways springs will also no longer bounce a shell that falls down one tile next to it, which is a shame as, well, back to the drawing board for this one, I suppose. You are no longer able to repress an on-off switch while stuck in dotted line blocks below it. You can now place certain objects and enemies on top of doors without being blocked, just as it was in the original Mario Maker. Solid objects still prevent entry like normal. One-way walls, icicles, burners, fire bars, and the top 16 rows of vertical sub-areas are no longer considered global ground, essentially meaning that anything loaded on top of these items would remain loaded when moving off screen. While these were especially useful while they lasted, contraption builders will have to resort back to using blue platforms on tracks to keep things loaded off screen. And a variety of glitches were patched, including the floating chain chomp, mushroom platform hidden block shenanigans, and of course, the black hole glitch, among many others. Sorry, Psychro. And while no new course parts were added in this update, Nintendo confirmed on Twitter that future updates will be adding new stuff to play around with in the editor. Special thanks to Black 60 Dragon for keeping an ever-updating Google Doc of all of the latest changes. A link to that will be in the description. Make sure to comment anything you've noticed and share this video with anyone curious about what's new in Mario Maker 2's latest update. Thanks for watching.